Well, hello, church. I just wanted to put a short video up there to kind of walk you through our spiritual growth booklet. It's a new year now, and we have done the assessment in the fall. And again, those of you who have not done this or weren't around in the fall or whatever, these are available on our website for download. There's some printed copies at the Welcome Center. And there's other, we can get it to you. Just ask, okay? Ask Wendy. So you'll notice in there that the first part of it is just a little outline, and then there is an assessment that we do, and we get scores from that. And what we did in the fall is we had people submit their scores and some comments about, where they wanted to grow, those kind of things. So from that, we, the pastors, the lead team and everything, are working on developing ministry plans and so on, workshops, preaching plans, that kind of thing, to address some of the areas that you identified as areas where you would like to grow. And then the next part of that is that you now, for the rest of this booklet, have an opportunity to put together your own spiritual growth plan. Okay, so I'm just going to walk you through that real quickly today. And if you have any questions about it or anything, please just ask. But so we've got these scores, you've identified, and the next step in the booklet on page 3 is to look at which area you scored highest and which area scored lowest. So for me, probably not a surprise, I scored highest in the learn area and scored lowest in the witness area. And I think that was pretty typical of most people. It wasn't big variation, but those were the highest and lowest areas for the majority of people anyway. So in that part of it, as you at this point in your journey, you're identifying these as areas where you're stronger and a little weaker, and it just asks to list one benefit that those strengths and or weaknesses or areas where you want to grow, how it will benefit you personally, your family, your church, and your community. So it's just quickly going over there and sort of assessing that, and that's one of the harder parts of it, honestly. And none of this stuff do you have to do. We're just suggesting this as a way to identify a plan for growth for yourself. You might find another way, but we wanted to offer you some kind of guideline to help you do that. Okay. So then, we give you some suggestions at the end of the booklet for different specific things that you can do. But the next part of it is to actually put together your annual spiritual growth plan. So you want to decide on the actions that you have, and we've broken it down into different seasons. So right now being winter, the first one there might be the winter months. So during these months I will so-and-so, and you'll see that when you look in the book. And then also to maybe think about enlisting an accountability partner. You may already have that. You may have a small group where you feel that you may even want to work through this together. So that's fine. Again, we're not telling you this is how it has to be, but here's some alternatives, and so it's always good to have someone who not only that keeps you accountable to what you say you want to do, but also there is growth opportunity, and I think help to keep you working toward your goals when you are helping to keep someone else accountable to it, and you're walking this journey together and going through those dips in motivation and so on. So anyways, so then it comes to actually putting together the spiritual growth plan. And so with number 1 there on page 4, you'll see that. So I'll just give you an example of what I did for the first one, and then you kind of get an idea of what of what it's like. So winter, during these months, I will improve my understanding of God's standard for the following discipline through individual and or group study. That's what it says. So, the discipline for me will be to pray for the lost people in my neighborhood every week. And then the name of the study there, you may or may not be using a study. So, rather than a study there, because obviously I didn't equate a study with that. I have said, watch for signs of God doing something. So is he, when I'm out for a walk or something, am I bumping into this particular neighbor more often, or, things like that. Okay. So that's one. Let me find another one that maybe, yeah. So the one I put in number 4, this would be for fall. I said, this is just an example. In the fall, the discipline would be to invite someone to church, part of the maybe witness growth plan. And in the name of study, I said, read a book I have called Lifestyle Evangelism. And then, you just set an action goal at the end of each of these steps. And we have included below this, at the end of the booklet, a number of action items. So I'll just, again, go through some of those. So recommended actions for spiritual growth guide. That's how the booklet ends, and you'll see a number of things there, including opportunities to serve at Grace Church. So, for instance, worship is sort of the first one mentioned there. I circled number 2, that I want to learn more about and practice biblical fasting. That's something I've been doing for years, but again, I'm just giving you some examples. So you might want to learn more about and practice biblical fasting. Number 5, maybe take time each day, like set a specific time, set an alarm on your phone, whatever, to be grateful. Okay, so those are some examples, and then at the bottom you'll see Grace Church service opportunities. So, maybe you want to look at becoming part of a worship team, singing, playing an instrument, working in the booth on IT or video or sound, those kind of things. Maybe you want to get better at reading scripture out loud. So maybe you want to ask to, like we do that scripture reading on video every Sunday. Maybe you want to let Wendy know that you'd like to do that, especially if you haven't before. I would think that even greeter and usher would be part of these things. So that hopefully gives you a bit of an idea of how to go forward with this. And again, enlist someone to walk through it with you. If you have any questions, let me know. Email, whatever. I can answer those questions for you. But I would suggest all of us, it's kind of fun when a congregation is working together towards something, even if we're not in contact with each other necessarily. It's kind of, the idea is kind of nice to know that, hey, at least most of us are working on this together. And my deepest desire for this is that not only will we reassess ourselves, say at next fall or at the end of the year or whatever, to see if we are seeing growth, at least in terms of this assessment and the numbers, right? But also that we would be willing to share our experiences, and not necessarily on a Sunday morning, not necessarily in person, even verbally, but yeah, maybe you do put together a little video. Maybe you put together even an anonymous testimony of how your growth journey has gone throughout the year. And I'd love to be able to hear those, and maybe even have a congregational meeting at the end of the year or in the fall sometime, and be able to share some of our stories of not just our successes and growth, but maybe some challenges that we've had, and get to understand with each other how difficult this can be, especially in a world that is not, I guess, supporting Christians and their spiritual growth and devotion to the Lord. So that's kind of the vision for all of this. It's not just an assessment and that it's an opportunity to build community as well, and to be able to share with each other, man, I'm struggling with this, or here's what I found really helped me in terms of growing in this area. So that's my hope in that, is that it would be a time that we would be able to share all that stuff. So that's why I think it would be fun for us all to be working on this together. And I would set a goal for myself, if I were you, to maybe by what are we, almost middle of January now, to maybe set a goal for the end of January to at least have a basic plan in place that you will schedule into your life and commit to for the rest of the year. Okay, so that's kind of all I have today. Again, if you have any more questions, let me know. But hopefully that helps to get you started. And I look forward to hearing our stories later in the year. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you on Sunday, and have a good week.